The 1982 Los Angeles Lakers have been described as the deepest, most explosive, and greatest fast break offense ever. We have never seen a team this relentless on the open court. For some, this is the greatest team from the Showtime era. The way they peaked in the playoffs was historic. Overcoming the drama, trade demands, and injuries they faced made this season so special. With the help from NBA history on CLNS, we'll get the full story behind this forgotten team. In the 1981 offseason, this team was not in a good place. They underachieved after winning the title in 1980. Magic missing over half the season with an injury contributed to their dip in performance, but that was just the beginning. Pat Riley famously spoke about this in his 1988 book, Showtime, Inside the Lakers' Breakthrough Season. He called it the disease of more. Norm Nixon was complaining about his role. Sports Illustrated reported that several players were jealous of the media attention Magic was receiving. And the New York Times reported that Kareem was causing some rift in the locker room. They were no longer on the same page. This rollercoaster ride of a season ended in the worst possible way. They lost in the first round to a Houston Rockets team that had a losing record. This was the baggage they carried into the next season. Something was in the air and the worst was about to happen. It was the 11th game of the season and the Lakers were visiting the Utah Jazz. They escaped with a 3-point victory, but all the drama came after the game. Magic Johnson told reporters, "I can't play here anymore. I want to leave. I want to be traded." What on earth happened?
Why was Magic Johnson unwilling to play for him?
Paul Westhead he's a fellow Philadelphian with McKinney. He had coached at LaSalle, and he was known for his up-tempo basketball. But as it unfolded in LA, he and Magic came into conflict because Magic came to believe that Westhead favored a style that was playing too much to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's low post game rather than Showtime, as we came to know it. And as simple as that. It's a matter of game style and tempo.
According to Paul Westhead, their head coach, Magic ignored his defensive instructions during a timeout. Magic was reprimanded both during the game and privately afterward. That must have been his breaking point, because that's when he publicly asked to be traded. Paul Westhead said in his repertoire that Magic was used to having things go his way and didn't respond well to criticism. On the other hand, Johnson stated that he was unhappy with the way the offense was running and he wanted to play at a faster pace. The very next day, Paul was fired. The media at the time did not like how Magic has such an influence in this coaching change. This even caused some divide within the team. Could he be trusted? Does he have too much power over the organization? Fans share that same sentiment, including their own. When they returned home, he received a cold welcome. In fact, Magic was not voted as one of the starters for the Western Conference All-Stars. He finished a distant 5th place among guards. In retrospect, this coaching change was very important to the team's future and legacy, but at first, there was a lot of confusion. Dr. Jerry Buss announced in a press conference that Jerry West was the offensive coach and Pat Riley was a coach. The idea was for them to be co-coaches. But in real time, Jerry West dismissed that idea and said that Pat Riley would be the one running the show.
I'm going back only a few years, had been Chick Hearn's color man. He had gone from color man to bench assistant coach, and now, never having coached a head job anywhere, he's the new coach of the Lakers, Pat Riley. And all we know, Showtime took root.
His first order of business, get the team united again. According to the New York Times, this is what he told his team the night before his first game. Any house divided against itself will not stand. You can't ride the fence. I'm the one. Either you're with me or you're not. That was Pat Riley. He was demanding. He expected greatness and he held you accountable if you didn't play up to standard. He also knew exactly what it took to win at the highest level. Everyone needed to be on the same page. Once everyone bought in, he knew the sky was the limit. But there was one more hurdle they needed to overcome. The starting power forward, Mitch Kupchak, got injured after just 26 games. Now they had a glaring hole at the 4 spot. The response was very risky, but they couldn't ignore the potential rewards. They traded a 2nd-round draft pick to the New Jersey Nets for Bob McAdoo. That was all they gave up to receive the former MVP and scoring champion. This gives us an idea of how low his stock was at the time. From 1976 to 1981, he played for 5 total teams. He was unable to bring the same value he brought to the Buffalo Braves for any of the other teams, and they kept shopping him around. His reputation was ruined, and it was assumed that his career was over. But the Lakers saw a diamond in the rough. The idea was for him to bring instant offense from the bench, and he was more than willing to accept his new role. He proved to be the difference maker for this team.
By this time, he's a scorer. He's born to score. I mean, the man is a former scoring, how many times scoring champion, and his job, he's very happy. He's coming off the bench. He plays 18 minutes a game, by the way, on this team, and he had no other real responsibility than to shoot the basketball. It was a good waste. It was a good way for him to take advantage of what he did well.
All of a sudden, the Lakers had the greatest roster in the NBA. You could even make the case that it's one of the greatest ever. Remember when we said how everyone seemed to be turning against Magic Johnson? He took that personally. He responded with his game to prove that there was nothing more important to him than winning. The result was a career year. He recorded his career high in rebounds and steals. For the season, he averaged 18.6 points on 54% shooting, 9.6 rebounds, 9.5 assists, and 2.7 steals per game. He was never this close to averaging a triple-double. On top of that, he is the only player in league history to post over 700 assists, 700 rebounds, and 200 steals in a season. His versatility and all-around excellence allowed LA to be so dangerous on offense while starting 2 point guards at the same time. Although he was unquestionably the league's best facilitator, he proved he could be effective no matter what position he played. Then there was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was showing no signs of declining. At 34 years old, he was still one of the top scorers in rim protectors. He finished 6th in scoring and 3rd in blocks. He averaged 23.9 points on 58% shooting, 8.7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2.7 blocks per game. He deserves credit for sacrificing his numbers to accommodate all the talent on his squad, but there were moments where he reminded the world that he still had it, like when he was 1 rebound short of being the oldest player to post over 40 points, 20 rebounds, and 5 blocks. This came in a double overtime thriller against the Sixers. Or when he was 1 point short from posting 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 blocks against the Pistons. Then there was their quiet leader, Jamaal Wilkes. He had the reputation of being a certified bucket getter. What made that perplexing was his unorthodox shooting form. It has been described by many as a slingshot. It wasn't pretty looking, but it was effective. Not only could you not block his shot, but the ball seemed to go in every time. Legendary broadcaster Chick Hearn famously called his jump shots 20-foot layups. It's no wonder why he averaged 21.1 points per game on 53% shooting. He was their 2nd leading scorer. This team had 3 representatives that played in the All-Star game, but Jamaal was not selected to join Magic and Kareem. It was Norm Nixon. His quickness and playmaking abilities gave teams such a disadvantage. He was one of their most creative shot makers, and he was an excellent facilitator. In fact, he finished 5th in assists while Magic finished 2nd. It's one of the few times in league history that a pair of teammates finished in the top 5. He helped give the Lakers such a unique look. Those were the stars of the team, but we don't want to forget the role players. Michael Cooper was selected to the All-NBA Defensive First Team while averaging in double figures. That is a huge asset to have from someone coming off the bench. And rookie Kurt Rambis came out of nowhere and surprised many. He didn't look the part, but he brought tremendous value with his hustle and tough defense. Despite all the problems they had to face, they finished with the best record in the West. They won 57 games. It was no doubt a great regular season. However, not everyone was convinced of their title odds. The Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers both finished with better records. But it's not about how you start, it's how you finish. In the playoffs, they went on a legendary run. Their first playoff matchup came against a top 5 defensive team, the Phoenix Suns. The Lakers treated them like they were nothing. They completely ran them out the court. What are you supposed to do when Jamaal Wilkes is averaging 24.3 points per game on 65% shooting for the series? Especially when you have so many other great players to worry about. Then you have Magic giving Dennis Johnson and their backcourt the business. He averaged the insane stat line of 20 points on 57% shooting, 11.8 rebounds, 10.8 assists, and 2.8 steals per game. When he's posting a triple-double for 3 out of the 4 games of the series, you're screwed. After sweeping the Suns, their next matchup was the San Antonio Spurs. This was expected to be a long and competitive series. They were the only Western Conference team to beat them in a regular season series, 3-2. But they proved once again that this team was much different than what they saw in the regular season. The head coach of the Spurs, Stan Albeck, confirmed this notion when he said this to Sports Illustrated. "I don't know if any of the great Boston teams back in the 60s and 70s ever advanced the ball this quickly. We've tried everything, keeping 2 men back, going to the offensive boards, slowing it down, everything the book says you're supposed to do, and we still couldn't stop them." End of quote. It was something that needs to be seen to believe. No team has ever pushed the ball up the floor with greater speed and skill. On the other hand, this is where Bob McAdoo made this team so unfair. For the series, he averaged 20 points on 58% shooting, 7.3 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks per game. Again, he was doing all this from the bench. He was doing everything he could to earn his first title. When you have so many players to account for, someone is bound to take advantage. For this series, it was Norm Nixon. He was the team's best player. He averaged 26.3 points on 54% shooting and 8 assists per game. To see the way he broke down their defense and all the ways he could score highlights just how underrated he has been. It was too much for San Antonio to handle, and they got swept. This made the Lakers the first team to ever sweep their way to the finals. But could they keep that momentum going against a tough Philadelphia 76ers team? They gave the Lakers all they could handle in the 1980 finals, and they were seeking revenge. They had all the confidence in the world after defeating the Celtics in a tough 7-game series. In Game 1, it seemed like the Lakers were brought back to earth. Philly was playing with a purpose, and they held a 15-point lead in the third quarter. That was when LA showcased just how lethal their offense was. They came roaring back and were able to take the lead by the end of the quarter. They eventually went on a 40-9 run in just 11 minutes of play. This allowed them to steal Game 1. But there's no greater example of their offensive greatness than in Game 4. They made 52 consecutive points without a jump shot. They wanted to run the ball down your throat every single time on offense. After a while, teams would just run out of gas trying to defend them. This is what Bobby Jones said in a Sports Illustrated article from 1982. "We just couldn't keep up with them. They had 3 or 4 people on the break, sometimes 5. We'd always try to get a couple of guys back, but they moved the ball so well, it seemed like at least 3 of them touched it every time down. When that happens, you become indecisive about who to guard." End of quote. Overwhelming is a word to describe this team. In the title clinching game, they used a balanced attack to score at will. 6 of their 8 active players scored in double figures. It was amazing to see how they came together as a team and win the championship after all the problems they were facing. How fitting that the player that was getting the most heat won the finals MVP. He demonstrated perfectly how to answer to all the negative publicity by letting your game do the talking and winning. After this, he was back to being a beloved sports figure. But what about the 1982 Lakers? Should they be considered the greatest team from the Showtime era?
No, my God, no. They won the championship. They had a good ending. But in the Showtime era, the 86-87 Lakers, who won 65 games. And that's the best Laker team. That was Magic's MVP year.
Let's not forget this next important stat. They finished with a 12-2 postseason record. They're only one of 8 teams to win a title while only losing at least 2 games in the playoffs. They should absolutely get more respect. They deserve to be considered as one of the greatest teams in league history. But what about you all? Do you think this is the greatest team from the Showtime era? What is your favorite memory from this season? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.